Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. I'm back with Manish today. So, Manish is the founder of the Cloud9. He's an entrepreneur and a chef. So, thank you, Manish, for joining, and it's my pleasure to have you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so it's my pleasure. Again, it's my pleasure to have you. And thank you again for joining in, Manish. So, before getting into any other discussion or me asking any questions about your company, about what you do, so could you just give a brief note about yourself and about your work and all the things you do?
So, hello everyone. I'm Manish and I'm 14 years old. And so, basically, I became a vegan 2 years ago. So, for all those who do not know what veganism or what being vegan means, a vegan doesn't contribute to the suffering of any living organism as much as he or she can. So let's say, for example, let's take the industry of meat. So in the industry of meat, they of course slaughter animals and kill animals. So that is the unnecessary suffering of an organism. So we vegans restrain from consuming meat in order to stop the demand that is existing. And vegans also do not consume dairy products, as in the dairy industry, many cows are ill treated and they're confined and in the end killed. And vegans also do not consume honey, they do not wear leather or silk, and also they refrain from going to circuses, zoos, aquariums, etc. So I became a vegan 2 years ago. And after understanding that I needn't contribute to the suffering of living organisms, and after that I wanted to spread the word of veganism. So I wanted many people to live such a life for the well-being of themselves
Animals.
and the rest of the
Hmm.
organisms on animals. Yeah. So basically, I also got into cooking after becoming a vegan because before that I was a vegetarian. So I used to consume dairy products, wear silk leather, and go to circuses, but I did not eat meat. So after becoming vegan, I sort of missed the cheese, the like dairy products that I used to consume before. So there are, of course, many alternatives. There's plant-based cheese, so basically cheese made from plants, and there is soy milk and all that. So I wanted to use those plant-based ingredients and make my own vegan food. So it started from there. After that, I really like got to know many recipes. I started cooking a lot, and then I wanted other people to have this vegan food because in Trichy there aren't many alternatives. So in other places I've heard that there are vegan restaurants which serve only plant-based options, so only food made from plants. So I wanted people to have a vegan stop in Trichy. So I was thinking about it, and my sister also helped me in the process. And then we started an Instagram-based a store where people can order through Instagram, and then we would deliver vegan food to their places. So this happens in Trichy. I live in Trichy. So right now we get orders from Instagram, and then we deliver it to people living in Trichy. So yeah, that's how Cloud9 started, and that's my vegan journey.
Okay, okay, great. Thank you very much for that. So you went vegan when you were 12, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, that's
And
correct.
how did that happen? Was it who who did even like how was it possible even to motivate a 12-year-old a child who is I think at your age many of you even don't know what how things are made, and at that age you deciding to not consume dairy for the sake of animals and for the sake of this and all the other reasons how dairy industry is. How did this happen, and who motivated you to go vegan at that age?
So it was my sister who told me about veganism. So I loved animals. My sister also loved animals. We loved animals. So when we were going to school or when we came back from school, there would be stray cats, dogs, hens, and many animals, and you used to play with them, pet them, and all that. So I and my sister, we were proud that we are vegetarians. We were vegetarians because we thought that being vegetarian meant that we didn't kill any animals. So after that, my sister, after like researching, she found that even dairy exploited cows a lot, and silk, leather were also exploitation of animals. So they were just, even though we were vegetarians, it didn't mean that we restrained from harming animals. So after my sister understood that, she told me about veganism, and I understood that I needn't cause the suffering of another organism. And that the stray cat or the dog that I used to pet, they are exactly the same as the cow who is getting tortured in the, let's say, milk industry, or the silkworms that are being boiled alive. They're just same organisms. They can feel pain, and they're sentient. So then I decided to take a call, and then I became vegan. As I already mentioned, at first I felt like I was missing many of the products that I used to consume, let's say cheese or pizza. But but if you have a strong mind, and if you understand that the suffering of the animals is greater than that sensory pleasure of taste of that 5 minutes that you eat a pizza, their life is more valuable than the taste that we feel. So understanding that and realizing that made it possible for me to give up all the cheese. But I didn't really give up. So there are vegan alternatives that I still eat today. I make like vegan pizzas with vegan cheese, and it tastes just about the same, if not better. So yeah, it's just a
Hmm.
change in the lifestyle.
Yeah. And how was your parents' reaction when you decided to go vegan at 12?
So they were first confused and perplexed when my sister went vegan. She was the one who went vegan first. They were asking loads of questions like, where will you get your calcium from? What about protein and all that? And then my sister, I was also really surprised at what my sister did. I was like, how can you live without pizza? Like, pizza is so good. How can you live
Yeah.
without the cheese?
Yeah.
And then she told us that all about veganism. And I realized after like researching a bit by myself that vegan food is way healthier
Hmm.
than normal food. So
Hmm.
usually we have we think that milk has calcium, but actually plant-based, like, let's say I forgot what it was, some lentils of some sort,
Yeah.
had way more calcium than
Yeah.
milk.
And I
But
think
we never
it's
know
yeah,
that.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I think it's jeera and sesame seeds, which have a good amount of calcium, which milk
Yeah.
has.
Mm.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So whenever we think of calcium, we associate it with milk. And I think it might be the marketing tactic of the milk industry or whatever. But when we look at the statistics, it is very clear that calcium is found in a lot of other things.
Yeah.
And protein, I heard that plants are the only source of protein, and animals get their protein from plants. So why not we consume plants directly and get the same protein, and also we don't let another organism suffer at our expense. So yeah, basically that's how my parents and I reacted. And after understanding that all of the facts about veganism, it was just clear that I had to go vegan, and my parents also went vegan because it was just obvious. The facts were there. And
Hmm. Hmm.
also the point about global warming and climate change. So we know that cows are bred into existence, and this huge population of cows that are being bred into existence because of the demand that we bring in. Because of that, there's loads of methane that is getting like accumulated in the atmosphere, and this leads to climate change, which is a huge crisis in today's world. So of course, it being vegan, you will reduce climate change. If the whole world went vegan, we can totally reverse climate change in a few days. So after understanding that taste is not really
Hmm.
an argument
Yeah.
to do certain actions, um, going vegan was easier.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Great. Great. And it's really commendable. It's wonderful that you at the age of 12 going vegan. It's really really wonderful. And thank you for sharing that and joining me in over here, Manish. So just now getting into your how did this idea of Cloud9 came to you? How was the starting days of Cloud9 and how this thing began there?
Yeah, so as I already mentioned, I used to cook a lot of vegan food, and I used to give it to my family members, and they said it was really good. And I wanted to start a vegan. No, I actually wanted a vegan restaurant to be in my locality because I've heard that other places have vegan restaurants, and I really wanted to taste vegan food because before me making my own vegan food, there weren't many options in Trichy because of course the South Indian cuisine that is present is some of it is already vegan, but vegan substitutes as such were not
Hmm.
existent.
Hmm.
For example, vegan restaurants were in there, like full on vegan restaurants. So I really wanted one to be a vegan restaurant to be present in Trichy, where I live. And then after a few days, I thought maybe I can create my own vegan food. So I started that at my place, and then slowly I wanted to expand. I wanted to like make sure that that vegan food is available to all people. And I felt that making vegan food and giving it to people made them realize that vegan food is just the same as non-vegan food. Many people feel like they would be missing out on something. They're afraid that they might want cheese and might not be able to eat it, or they might want some dessert or something that they might not be able to get. So making vegan food and giving it to people made them realize that vegan food is just about the same, if not tastier. So yeah, I've been making vegan food like that and delivering it to people as a means of activism as well as a business.
Okay, okay. And what did
Yeah,
you
so that's
learn?
how Cloud9.
Okay, okay, great. Thank you, Manish. Thank you for that intro and letting us know how it started. So how was this starting phase of it? What were the kind of problems did you see, and what kind of things did you learn while creating things and making things there?
I learned a lot of things. So, in a cooking aspect, of course, I learned the science and art of cooking. So, like many ingredients, it was the science that I was learning in school, but more practical. For example, baking soda is used in many places, and acid and base, like neutralization reaction, and all of that, like loads of other things, and yeast, and how it was there. I was getting a practical like knowledge on how things worked. So yeah, and then I've heard someone say that a kitchen is a way better scientific laboratory than any other place.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just yeah,
Mm.
so that was true, and I got to know that firsthand. And I also learned many things in a business aspect. So basically, how to please the customer and how to get more customers in a business aspect. So I learned that it is important to be able to market the brand and market the products in order to get a good traction. And I also learned that making sure that the customers are pleased and that they come back once again is a huge thing that we should try to bring. So basically, we try to make the food as good as possible, and that really helps people coming back. And we have had people order 7 times the same person, so that's really heartwarming. And I also learned about how to interact with people, and I also learned how to like deliver. Like me and my dad, we used to deliver together, so I got to know loads of new places and Trichy, and I learned a lot of things. So of course I also faced quite a bit difficulties here and there, but they weren't really much because I had a great support. My sister, my parents, and of course the rest of the people in Trichy, they were welcoming these vegan products, and it was really heartwarming. So
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And great. And how this whole narrative is there everywhere. I think all over the world that vegan cheeses are not good, or they don't taste as the same they are, or they are not that healthy. They are not that good. So how what are some kind of myths you would like to debunk about cheeses, vegan cheeses, at to be more precise?
So, from my experience, vegan cheeses or vegan food in general tastes amazing, and it is better than normal food. And it's just our preference, our choice. We can just shift to a plant-based diet. But what is not our choice is killing an animal, killing an organism, or making an organism suffer. That's not a choice that we can make. I can't make a choice to kill a human being. Similarly, I can't make a choice to make sure that an organism suffers its entire life in cages, or I don't know, locked up and then slaughtered brutally. So that is not a choice that we should take, even if we are capable of doing so. So it's just our mindset, and if we decide to be humane, compassionate, we can easily decide to do so. And of course, again, taste is not a justification for killing. And and yeah, so even if vegan cheeses or vegan food do not taste as good, I don't think we should be killing because of that small
Hmm,
fact,
hmm, hmm.
just our taste.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
apart from that, they do taste good.
Okay, and this one question I just want to ask you is how did things changed in school? Because I think you didn't because I think I don't know how it was at your place and how things were in your school. But normally when you're in school, you have friends and they bring we eat tiffins and they have the boxes and we everyone eat together. So how did things change and how did your friends change and how their mindsets changed when you went vegan and what was their response to that in your school?
So they were really confused again, and they were wondering why I decided to give up on like pizza and all that, because it is a craze for all kids. Like ice, they like ice
Uh-huh.
cream, chocolates, pizza, and all that. And also I learned that humans are compassionate at heart. So one day, one of my friends, he's a bird lover. He calls himself a bird lover, and he likes to point out birds and tell us about it. He
Uh-huh.
points at a bird and says that's a myna. It flies like this and all that. He loves studying about birds, and he does all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day he brought chicken to school as a part of his lunch. And then I asked, isn't that a bird as well that's dead in your tiffin box? And then he thought for a bit. And then
Mm.
he said, no, this is for us to eat. But you said you were a bird lover, which means you should unconditionally love birds, even if
Birds.
other
Huh.
humans are slaughtering and serving you the bird. Chicken is
Yeah.
a bird, and animals are just like that. Many of us love dogs and cats. Other animals, they are the same, except for the fact that they're a little bit different. Just because cows are a little bit different from from cats and dogs, doesn't mean we should kill them and eat them. So similarly, we are compassionate at heart. We love animals. We love birds. We are compassionate, but we forget that our actions are against what our morals are. We love animals, but still, without knowing that we are causing harm to them, we still continue to, let's say, eat them, or wear leather which kills cows and all that. So understanding and relating is a very important thing. Understanding that the animal that's in my plate, or the animal that I'm wearing, is just another animal that was slaughtered. So understanding that makes a huge difference, I think.
Hmm.
So
Great.
yeah, in school, I hope that I try to talk to people and hope that they understand this, the fact that all animals are
Equal.
equal and
Hmm.
all of them are the same.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Great. And I think we covered a wonderful point, part of it. And so, before ending up this session, what would be your message to people watching it or listening it? What would be your message to them?
My message is to realize that humans, as as humans who are intellectual, who are intelligent, we should make sure that we care for the weaker
Hmm.
ones, for
Hmm.
the animals who can't defend themselves, who do not have a voice. I think it's our duty to be the voice for the voiceless, to stand up for them, to help them and support them, and not kill them, or do the opposite of being compassionate and kind. So
Okay.
we should be compassionate, humane, and kind, and make sure that we care and we love.
Mhm. Okay, okay, great, great. Thank you, Manish, for joining in. Uh, and it was my pleasure to have you. It was wonderful, and thank you very much for sharing your journeys and your ideas and what you learned and all those things. And thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much.
Thank you for this great opportunity.